Hey everybody, this is HD. Welcome back. This is going to be game number 2 between Sen and oGs Hero, aka Liquid Jinro. Once again, Liquid Jinro is actually the account name that oGs Hero is playing on, and Sen is actually the player playing behind Fan Wang as the Zerg player. And this is game number 2. Last game, very interesting. I really like the force field usage that oGs Hero was using to keep his natural expansion alive. It was kind of a struggle for survival for the longest time because he had to keep throwing down force fields at every single gap to make sure that the Zerg player wouldn't be able to run in with those Zerglings and Banelings. And actually, if you guys haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out because it was a very intense battle with the natural expansion for the Protoss player. Now, it is going to be game number 2 here. Xel'Naga Caverns is the map, and this map featuring a little bit more of an open natural. I don't think that the Zerg player is going to go for that early expansion like he did on Metalopolis, and the reason for that is because this map, with that open natural, very much more vulnerable to early Protoss attacks, and so we may see Sen go for more of a one-base strategy opening off the bat, and we may see Liquid Jinro, excuse me, I keep calling him Jinro, oGs Hero. We may see oGs Hero go for, once again, a 4-gate attack, or he may just try something else completely different. It looks like right now, oGs Hero going for Gateway, super standard, gas on 14, everything looking cool, and the probe here, of course. Note that I've been watching oGs Hero's probe play, very good with that probe harass, and he's good at moving in, zapping a little bit of these drones, and then pulling away. He never really lets that probe get surrounded. Very nice right there. And what this does is it really forces the Zerg player, if you're a Zerg, you gotta pull like 4 or 5 drones off the line. You're forced to constantly deal with the annoying probe and pesky harass, and at the end of the day, it really hurts your mining time if you have to pull more than 2 drones off just to deal with a single probe. And of course, if you're Protoss, you just let those shields regenerate, pull away, you come back in once you got 20 shields, and you just go right back in with that particle beam and do as much damage as you can. Now, it looks like Sen is opening up with 14 gas, 14 pool, which it is an early one-base strategy. I think we're going to be seeing some early speedlings here for Sen. And note, he is pulling his drones right off of gas now, right as soon as he got 100 gas. So he is going to be opening up with early speedlings. Now, the question is he going to go for a hatchery after these Zerglings, or is he going to just go for early aggression? He is going to push this probe away. And it looks like he is saving 300 minerals up. So yeah, he is going to go for a hatchery down after the early speedlings. Going to be able to pick off this probe. Down goes the probe. And now Sen going for what seems to be 14 gas, 14 pool into a 21 hatch. Now, this build is more designed against Terran. I think this build is much better against Terran in general because speedlings are very useful early game against Terran. But it can also work against Protoss. And the nice thing now is it actually keeps a Protoss player down to 1 base because the Protoss is so scared of all of these speedlings out on the map at this point in the game that they really cannot push out. But the one thing Protoss players can do is they can go for a Stargate. And notice that oGs Hero is indeed going for the Stargate inside of his base. And of course, because a lot of Protoss play relies so heavily on making sure your buildings are placed correctly, you gotta take note of oGs Hero's great building placement here, preventing the Zerglings from running in. He's also got a Stalker towards the north, which is gonna prevent the Overlord from floating in and seeing the Stargate. So right now, oGs Hero is in a great position. Even though he's on 1 base, I think he's going to get a Void Ray out of this Stargate. Yeah, look at that. Chrono boosting the Void Ray out. And I think we're going to be seeing some early air unit shenanigans from the Protoss player. And unless Sen is prepared for this, he could be in a lot of trouble. Do note he is getting Roach Horn right now, which is not going to help whatsoever. Roaches cannot shoot the air. And Sen actually really needs to get a layer down, or at least get a couple more queens out, because this Void Ray is almost out. And of course the Void Ray can do so much damage. 1 Void Ray can actually end the game if the Zerg player is not prepared. So here we go. Looks like the Void Ray is, whoa, it's just gonna stop there. Sen may actually just have forgotten about it, or excuse me, oGs Hero may have just forgotten about it, and right now Sen actually sees the Void Ray. So Sen should be prepared. If he sees that Void Ray, he should be getting extra queens. He does have 1 extra one coming out of the natural expansion. And right now he's actually got a couple of Zerglings on the map. And it looks like oGs Hero may actually be getting ready to grab a natural expansion. So this game very, very strange right now. It's not quite clear what either player is going for. The Void Ray did indeed kill off that Overlord. But wow, oGs Hero may have just cost himself the game, because he went for this early Void Ray opening, but he didn't go out across the map and attack. And he allowed enough time for Sen to get air defense out. And now I think Sen should be just he should be well prepared against the Void Ray. He's got 2 queens. Yeah, I don't think this Void Ray is going to do much damage whatsoever, except for sniping off a couple Overlords here or there. So at the end of the day, oGs Hero may have just cost himself the game by hesitating with that Void Ray at his main base for such a long time. Now it looks like oGs Hero going to try to recuperate his losses by getting a Nexus down. His Void Ray was able to kill off 2 Overlords so far, not quite worth it in terms of cost investment. And right now Sen actually looking really strong in economy, 38 Harvesters over 27. Right now oGs Hero does have 2 Void Rays, so this is where it starts to get a little bit more scary, especially if those Void Rays start to max out a number when they get around 3 or 4. At the same time, a little bit of harassment at the front base of the Protoss player. oGs Hero now starting to move out across the map with some of his forces. A lot of these Roaches getting caught off guard by the Void Rays. And of course, Roaches cannot hit the air. These Void Rays are fully charged, now losing their charge. And of course, when they lose their charge, they're much more weaker to in terms of doing damage. And it looks like, wow, oGs Hero is actually going to push out across the map. Notice the Nexus was actually canceled. So right now, Sen thinks that there's a Nexus going up. If you go on Sen's vision, he sees a Nexus, and he was not prepared for this kind of all-in attack from oGs Hero. This is a very, very ballsy maneuver, and for all intents and purposes, this is all in for the Protoss player, canceling that Nexus. It is now 1 base to 2 base. Can Sen hold this off, and can oGs Hero end the game right here, right now? There are 2 queens, and that's all the anti-air that Sen has. I think that Sen may actually have enough. Just remember that Sen's just got a much larger economy, 46 Harvesters over 27. oGs Hero here going in with all of his forces. There are 4 queens here though, just doing sick damage to these Void Rays, and all these Roaches of course doing a ton of damage on the ground. I do believe that oGs Hero is going to have to back off here. He's going to have to lick his wounds. Sen is just too darn good. Although, here comes the queen. The queen's all getting taken out, and now Sen has no anti-air. Oh no, Sen just allowed all of his queens get picked off. If you guys rewind this video, you guys will probably see that oGs Hero used all of his forces to focus down the queens, and once all the queens went down, oGs Hero knew that his Void Rays would go off unopposed, and now the Void Rays can easily take out these hatcheries. It may actually pick off the hatchery before the queen comes out. Yes, it does. Oh wow, this game just took another turn of events, but at the same time, Sen here is going off with all of his lings and all of his Roaches. He's going to try to puncture his way through the front door of the Protoss main, and 1 sentry locking down a force field. But it looks like the Roaches are just barely skinny enough to squeeze by. Very, very close here. Is Jinro gonna be able to, is oGs Hero gonna be able to hold on? And at the same time, is he gonna be able to do enough damage at the main base? Because remember, we have a Hydralisk Den out, and it looks like some Hydras popping out of the hatchery, and these Hydras should be able to pick off the Void Rays very easily. Wow, that was a close battle. I think that oGs Hero going in for that all-in, I think he was able to do a lot of damage, but if we pull up that income tab, the Zerg player is still ahead by a good 11 Harvesters. So, actually that is 12 Harvesters, excuse me. And so, the Zerg player right now, oGs Sen, is really far ahead in this game still, even though he's lost a natural expansion. He's got a much larger army, 78 over 57. And the Protoss player now just rebuilding his Nexus. So I don't know if that was a wise decision for oGs Hero to cancel his Nexus. I guess he got 400 extra minerals to build 4 more Zealots, but really, if he had kept that Nexus alive, he may have been in a much better position in this game. But now he's in a lot of trouble. He's got to reestablish this nexus that's going up, and he has to rebuild his entire army. So as you guys can see right now, oGs Hero, he's rebuilding. He did make a pretty good attack, but at the moment in time, he's got to get this nexus going down, and he's got to get his economy rolling. Now, if we look back at oGs Hero, we can see that, yeah, he's still got a larger amount of harvesters, getting that gold expansion going down. He's got roaches, got lings, hydras coming out as well, and his natural expansion has been resecured and reestablished. So right now, the Zerg player looking pretty darn good. And also remember, he's got Hydralisk back inside the main as well, because remember, there's still these pesky Void Rays that have been doing damage all game long. It looks like it's going to come back in once again for another swing. It does have 10 kills so far. That's a pretty darn good Void Ray. But is this Void Ray going to be able to do any more damage with these Hydras in the back? Inside the main, looks like another Void Ray going to get caught out of position. 8 Hydralisk, picking that off easy peasy. And right now, oGs Hero, he's trying to figure out some way to take Sen out. It looks like he's found a small opening in the backside. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the Protoss player oGs Hero's player camera view as he's scrambling to figure out a way to get back in this game. But it's definitely not over yet. If we look at the income tab, he's only down by 10 harvesters. He's only down by about 30 supply, 20-30 supply. So it's not lights out yet for the Protoss player. As long as he can get some small advantage in this game, as long as the Zerg player messes up, or if he can get some well-played attack, then he may be able to figure out a way to get back in this. But as it stands right now, the Zerg is still definitely ahead. Sen looking very good. The Void Ray here may actually be get picked off. Yes, it does. This is actually Sen's player camera view right now, as he's now just established the gold hatchery, and of course, any good Zerg player working on that creep spread. Wow, that is super dizzy looking at Sen as he was just scrambling all over the screen there. But yeah, you guys can see Sen spreading out that creep very, very nicely. He's now working down across the map with a very, very large Roach and Hydralisk army. I don't think that oGs Hero is going to be able to defend against this. He does have a lot of Stalkers and Zealots and Sentries, but that is a super large army of Hydralisks. And of course, there are no Colossus here. Nice force fields to split the Hydralisks apart, but there's still so many Hydralisks in the back. I don't even think that Sen cares that there are force fields there. He knows he's got the larger army. And right now you guys can see oGs Hero scrambling to get the robotic support bay down. There it is, the robotic support bay, so he can get the Colossus out, but it's still very, very far away. More force fields getting planted down. Not the most efficient use of the force fields like we saw in game number 1. But at the end of the day, I think that oGs Hero knows that he is going to lose this game. There's just no way he can get back into this. There's just too many Hydralisks, too many Roaches, and without Colossus support, the Protoss player really is just down and out. So I think this is going to be a GG. We're just waiting to see when oGs Hero is going to GG out of here. There's the Colossus. Is chrono boosting out, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And oGs Hero GG's out. Sen wins game number 2. And I hope you guys enjoyed that broadcast. We're going to go ahead and move on to some daily ladders coming in the next couple of days. I want to thank you guys all for wishing me well, as I've been kind of sick in the last couple of days. But as you guys all know, more games will be coming out soon. So HD going to be signing out here. Till next time.